Hello everyone! Welcome to my Flosstube channel. My name is Jessie Lee and I'm coming at you with video number 17. I am so happy to be back here on Flosstube after my hiatus in October. It was a very busy month and it was also a bit difficult and emotionally draining, and I found myself feeling kind of lonely and really missing communicating with you all here through my channel. You are my special friends and a light in my life, and being away really made me realize just how much you all mean to me. So I am excited to share with you all the good stuff that's been happening in my life over the past month. On October 6th, I turned 35, and my family made me feel so special on my birthday. Tim took me on a little nature date. We went to Willow River State Park, which is just over the border in Wisconsin, and we had a little picnic by the lake, and then we took a hike to see the big, beautiful waterfall that the park is named for. And then on our way home, we spotted a little roadside gem and mineral shop, so I picked up a little souvenir. It is this pretty rock right here. It's heart-shaped because I have a bit of collection of exclusively heart-shaped gems. And this one is made of quartz and it has speckles of carbon inside. I think it looks really cool. Yeah, that was just special to pick up as a souvenir for my happy 35th birthday. And I don't know if you guys are at all interested in seeing the rest of my rock collection. Let me know in the comments and maybe I'll show it in a future video. Anyway, after our state park date, we picked the kids up from school in the afternoon and had cake and ice cream at home. And it was a really lovely birthday that made me feel so happy and so loved. Also, perhaps you've noticed, as a little birthday gift to myself, I got my tongue pierced. I have always admired people with alternative style, and I generally like the look of facial piercings. When I was 19, I got my eyebrow pierced, and I had that piercing until I finally took it out just a little over a year ago. My face has changed over time, and I was just ready to move on from it. But I have always, for the longest time, found it so cute and pretty to notice sparkly jewelry in somebody's mouth when they're talking, and it made me want the same. So I finally got it done a little while after my birthday, and I love it. Although I am still in the process of finding just the right jewelry that's the most comfortable inside my mouth and doesn't make me talk funny. So if you're hearing me lisp a little bit, please forgive me and bear with me until I find a way to work around that. Anyway, someone did ask if I have been dyeing my hair and got this piercing as part of a midlife crisis. No, geez. I am actually a very shy and modest person, so me expressing a bit of personal style is actually a sign that I'm feeling really good about myself. Anyways, moving along to the main reason I took a break from Flosstube last month, and that was to have the time to continue my annual tradition of sewing my kids' Halloween costumes. It took me nearly all month to make them, although I was delayed a bit because my sister-in-law turns me on to the She-Ra reboot that's on Netflix, and I was binge watching all 5 seasons in the midst of sewing, and that is a very dramatic show, so consuming all of it in a short period of time was pretty emotionally taxing, but I did enjoy it because I was glued to it, obviously, and it was a great way to connect with my little sister, who is probably the one that I click with the most on my husband's side, so that was nice. Sorry, I digress. My kids' costumes turned out incredible. They were some of my best work yet, and I'm so excited to show them to you. So I'm gonna scoot, and I will pop in a picture right here. As you can see, Glenn was a flowering cactus, and Sylvia was a Venus flytrap. The kids loved their costumes and they had so much fun dressing up and going trunk or treating. We went to a couple different venues and the kids got tons of positive attention and compliments on their costumes. So making those was totally worth the effort. Glenn's costume was made from some stretch velvet that I bought from an awesome Etsy shop that I have to shout out. It's called MilanFabrics. I believe they're based in California, and they had a fantastic selection and even better service. They shipped that fabric to me so fast, and I really appreciated that, and it gave me plenty of time to actually make the costumes. So I totally recommend that Etsy shop, MilanFabrics. And Glenn's costume was made from that beautiful green, soft, stretchy velvet, which I bulked up the texture of with some quilt padding. And I sewed the vertical lines along the entire body of the costume to make it look more cactusy. And then I added the prickles on it. Those little cactus spines were all made out of twisty ties, and they worked great. And then I hand sewed all the flowers out of pink satin, and yeah, it was just a very cute costume that Glenn really liked wearing. He is very into flowers, and he's also interested in my little collection of cactuses and succulents here in my room. So I was happy to do that for him. It turned out super cute. And then Sylvia's costume was quite the experiment. I did cheat a bit by purchasing the dark green spandex bodysuit from Amazon, but the lime green fly traps were all me. The fly trap parts were also mostly made of spandex, and all the little teeth were tediously cut from craft foam. And then the chest piece I made with some wire, so the stems could stick up and out and be posed every which way, and she had them coming off both her front and her back. It was pretty crazy and fun. And when she walked around, the stems would bounce and wave around. So the costume totally came to life as she moved. It was pretty funny. And then the little finishing touch I add were some poor little flies that were made from pom-poms and googly eyes, and their wings were actually clear hot glue. I just put a couple plops of hot glue on some aluminum foil, and they hardened into these perfect little discs that I peeled off the foil and applied to the pom-poms. So that was just a cute little touch. And Sylvie had so much fun in that costume. Both kids absolutely adored the costumes I made for them this year. I'm so proud of how they turned out. They were a tremendous hit with everyone who saw them, and it's just a labor of love every year that I just really enjoy doing. So I was happy to take the time to get that done this year. So that was the big project that I was taking my Flosstube break for. I do really want to express how grateful I am to all of you for being so patient while I was away for so long. So I am returning to you with a giveaway as an homage to my son's cactus costume and to thank all of you for sticking with me while I was away. I will be giving away this adorable pattern. This is Cactus Party by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. I think it's so cute, and I hope you do too. And if you would like to win the giveaway of this pattern, please leave a comment with the word party. I'm opening this up to all of my subscribers across the world. The rules are to please be a subscriber, please be at least 18 years old so I may ask your address if you win the pattern, and also please do not comment the word giveaway or free because we don't want any scalper trolls swooping in and ruining the fun. So thanks again for being so patient while I was on hiatus in October, and I'm happy to be back with you all, and I hope you think the pattern is cute and want to win it. Remember, just comment the word party and you'll be entered, and I will announce the winner in my next video, which I will make about 2 weeks from now. I was able to get a decent amount of cross-stitching done in the midst of all of my sewing, and I actually made some pretty important progress on a few of my whips. Since it was my birth month, it was time for me to bring out my Birthstone Girls whip and stitch the girl representing myself. And here she is. I think she turned out very cute, and I was very happy with the look of the opal that I stitched. I think it turned out looking pretty recognizable as an opal. So I was a little surprised by that. I think she's super cute. And this was the last girl that I had to add to this piece. So let me show you everyone all together. From left to right, these girls represent my grandma, my mom, myself, and my daughter. Everybody is stitched with DMC floss on 25 count white opalescent Lugana. And I designed these Birthstone girls myself using bits and pieces of the Birthstones 1 and 2 patterns by Sodastitch. And I do plan on adding everyone's names and birthdays underneath them. You can see down here on the bottom, I was experimenting a little bit with colors of DMC Light Effects floss. I think I'm going to use one of the 2 purple shades that you see there on the left in order to sort of tie in my daughter's purple dress with the rest of the piece. So I won't be showing you my progress stitching in everybody's names and birthdays because I think that's a bit too much personal information to be putting out on the internet. But I will show this to you again when I have it completely FFO'd in the end. So I hope you look forward to that. I also had a mini finish on my Temperature Garden by Sara the Stitchin Mommy. I'm stitching this on 28 count white Lugano with all my own colors of DMC. And as you can see, I finished up the flower bed for October and I'm moving along into November. The temperatures here in Minnesota where I live have been steadily dropping, and you can tell by October being orange and November moving into the pinks. And it has actually been flurrying here and there this past week. And yesterday, we actually got a little over an inch of snow that has actually stuck to the ground. And I'm actually really pleased to see it. Last year, we had an abnormally warm winter, and it was a brown Christmas, which is pretty disappointing. But eventually, I did dig up my snowman mug from the back of the cabinet. I'm very short, so I just didn't see it back there. And last year, I finally got out that snowman mug and drank my coffee with all of my wishes for lots of snow. And about a day later, we had a giant blizzard with weather, storm warnings, and everything. So my work was done. Yep, I have magic weather powers with my snowman mug. In fact, when this snow was coming down, my husband happened to be out running errands, and as he was walking back to the car with his shopping, he texted me, "Have you been drinking from your snowman mug?" I told him, "Nope, this isn't my fault this time." Speaking of my husband, he and I also had our 11th wedding anniversary last month. So to celebrate, I worked on a new start. I am stitching Through the Storms by Silver Creek Samplers. And here's what I got done so far. This is my first time ever starting my stitching in the center. I have always been an edge starter, but because the modeling of this fabric is so varied, which you can't even see because it's totally washed out by my lighting and my phone camera, but there's lots of different sort of colors of modeling within this fabric, and I wanted the stitch area of this piece to be perfectly placed among that modeling in this portion of the fabric that I chose. So I started stitching with the letter B and umbrella and have been working out from there. This fabric is 32 count Olympia by Mystic Fabrics, and the linen is so pretty and pretty easy to work with as far as linen goes, and I think it looks exactly like a cloudy, rainy sky, which is just perfect for this pattern. So I am loving this piece so far. Oh, and I'm also stitching this with most of the called for colors of Fancy Floss with 1 or 2 substitutions. I also managed to complete an FFO last month too. I finally framed up my snooty kitty here, which I stitched to launch my Sal over on Instagram, hashtag Sal all the kitties. And he is finally all done. I'm sorry about the glare, but I did put him behind glass because he now hangs in my entryway, which is a high traffic area with a door that opens to the outside, and I wanted him to stay clean. So he's behind glass, and I think this frame looks just perfect on him. And this pattern was Life with Cats Royal Audience by the Blue Flower. Something special about the way I framed him, I have here my grandma's old pincushion, which I inherited. And in it are a whole bunch of these flat head metal pins. So I took a few of them and used them to attach my fabric to the foam core board that I put inside of the frame. And a thing that's funny about this FFO too is the foam core board was kind of thick and took up too much space inside the frame, so I wasn't really able to fit in the actual frame backing piece. So I attached it with duct tape. And the only color of duct tape that I had in the house happened to be neon yellow. It looks bad, but it works, and it feels really secure, and it makes me laugh. No one's gonna see it, so it's fine. So I got this guy done, and I'm happy to have him hanging where I can see him all the time. He's super funny and cute. I have been plugging away at my Spring Cat Sampler by Nancy Rossi. Here's what the pattern looks like overall. The last time I showed it to you, I had just finished up the big flower bed in the middle with the cat. And before that, I had done the tall side sections and the motifs on the bottom. And since I showed it to you, I did the whole birdhouse with all the cute birds at the top. That was quite a significant chunk to get out of the way, and I got most of the back stitching done too. I just skipped over the back stitch of the flowers. That is part of a branch from a blossoming tree that I will add to the very top very soon, as well as the two corner sections, which have butterflies in them. And I am just so proud of how far I have come on this piece. This has been a big project, and I'm really happy to be in the end stages, and I am looking forward to moving on to the next pattern in the series. The last thing I have to share with you today is a bit of haul I have here. Both Suzy Reno and Sara Stitches here on Flosstube happened to mention Holly Hobby in their recent videos. Suzy showed a beautiful piece of vintage embroidery she had purchased that was a wonderfully done image of Holly. And then Sara talked about how she was a huge Holly Hobby fan when she was a little girl, and the tin lunchbox she brought to school every day had a picture of Holly Hobby on it, and that was a very sentimental memory for her. So, since two of my favorite Flosstubers happened to talk about Holly, that put her on my radar, and I Googled her. And I ended up finding this beautiful piece of vintage crewel work on Etsy. It is the iconic image of Holly carrying around that poor kitten. And of course, I love it because I am a cat person. And I, of course, appreciate this piece of stitch work. And I will show it to you up close. It is done just beautifully, and it is in wonderful condition. It is definitely that crewel work that was popular in the 1970s, and it was stitched with wool floss. I think it is so cute and very special, so I was happy to purchase it for myself. And I also found this Untouched vintage embroidery kit of Holly Hobby too. It has the #1 iconic image of her in her bonnet, just holding a little bouquet of wildflowers. And this kit is quite cute. It says, "I know my stitches." And it has examples of basic embroidery stitches on it. And it's a completely unused kit. See, it's a stamped embroidery piece. Comes with all the floss and even the little ends and the dowel to make the banner. And I intend to stitch this myself one day and hang it on my wall somewhere alongside this beautiful vintage crewel work. I think that's really special. Holly Hobby was popular a bit before my time, but she was in my periphery when I was a little girl. And I think the style of her image complements Precious Moments collectibles, which were quite a big part of my childhood. And I also happen to own 2 vintage books full of Precious Moments cross-stitch patterns, which are high on my list to stitch from. So someday I can hang up some Precious Moments embroidery pieces alongside my Holly Hobby embroidery, and it will just be very special. In fact, it is my intention in 2022 to primarily focus on stitching those really vintage cross-stitch patterns from the 90s that remind me the most of my grandma and my own childhood. That is all I have to share in this video today. Thank you so much for being patient while I was missing from my channel for a while and for coming back and watching me here this time. Before I go, of course, I want to share with you the motto of my grandma who inspired me both in stitching and in life. God loves you and I love you. Happy stitching! Bye-bye!